Hi, my name is Tashana Jones, and today my presentation will discuss special needs groups in disasters. For starters, let's talk about the term special needs groups. Defining special needs is not an easy task as the special needs population consists of a variety of individuals, each presenting unique characteristics. There is no universal definition for the term special needs group, as the term varies across segments. For the purpose of this presentation, special needs groups in disasters are those groups that require additional accommodation, support, care, or services beyond what is typically required for the average person before, during, and after a disaster. FEMA describes special needs groups as individuals with disabilities, functional, or access needs. In the following slides, I will provide examples of the special needs populations that are affected during disasters, along with barriers that are specific to their unique circumstances. Let's revisit what we know about disaster preparedness. We have learned that it is highly beneficial for families and individuals to equally prepare their own plans for disaster. Individual planning supplements local emergency management response and can often minimize the effects of disaster. For the special needs population, disaster preparedness is extremely important. These groups must be proactive in their emergency planning while accounting for their individual circumstances. With special needs groups, additional care or services are often needed during disaster. A plan must be set in place that includes how to obtain and access such accommodations. Now, let's take a look at some of the common special needs groups. The hearing impaired. Here is a critical example of why emergency management agencies and organizations must incorporate resources for the special needs population into their standard operating procedures during disaster relief. The National Organization on Disability reported results of a survey done on emergency shelters that were available to Hurricane Katrina evacuees. Take a look at these statistics. They show that shelters were overwhelmingly unequipped to serve the hearing impaired population. This virtually meant that many of the hearing impaired were unable to receive vital information that was critically needed during this confusion and turmoil of Hurricane Katrina. Sadly, this is one of many scenarios like this, and provisions are still being placed to accommodate the hearing impaired and other special needs populations across the nation. In the meantime, some special needs groups are at a serious disadvantage during disasters. The visually impaired, another special needs group, are among those who need additional services such as service pets, canes, or even someone to supervise their belongings during a disaster. Along with the hearing impaired, the visually impaired also need unique methods of obtaining critical warnings, instruction, and direction to safety during a disaster. Communication barriers must be accommodated throughout the various stages of disaster. The disabled population have special needs that do not stop in the face of disaster. Therefore, they must have access to quality care and medication throughout a disaster. Seniors represent a large part of the special needs population, as they may also exhibit a wide range of disabilities and functional needs that require special attention during disasters. The mobility impaired. During a disaster, there must be plans for transporting individuals who require the use of wheelchairs, canes, and walkers. A major issue here is transporting these mechanisms, as large vehicles or special attachments are often needed. Also, shelters or designated safe locations must be wheelchair accessible to accommodate those who may be housed there. For the safety of the mobility impaired, it is important to ensure they will have access to these tools if they must evacuate their homes. During a disaster, there may be a limited supply of or access to food for dietary requirements or medications. Therefore, disaster preparedness among this special needs group is critical for the well-being of the individual's health. Individuals and families without transportation are considered special needs groups who rely on the public for transportation in the event they must evacuate during a disaster. Many times, local emergency management officials take this special need into consideration and arrange public transportation to those in need. However, the message must be communicated clearly to the population in order for them to be aware of their options. Oftentimes, when we hear the term special needs group, we automatically think of those with disabilities or even the elderly. Take a look at some other special needs groups that should be considered during disasters. Women who are pregnant are a delicate population during times of disaster. Single mothers may require additional support when caring for their children in disaster. In the event that an individual cannot return home soon after a disaster, they should change their disability and Social Security benefits to electronic payments. In 2008, FEMA released a preparedness guide for special needs populations. This governmental action reassures us that the need to address special needs groups is finally being recognized. With this guide, local governments and organizations can learn how to effectively prepare and serve the special needs population during a disaster.